All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to our last and final municipal forum. As we begin tonight, we would like to acknowledge that we are meeting virtually on Treaty 8 territory, home of the Beaver, Cree, and Dene peoples, and home of the Métis people of Region 6, where we celebrate and value diversity. All right, Amber, I'm just going to hand it off to you there.
For sure. Thanks, Riley. Yeah, thank you everybody for joining us this evening. We have our final forum. We'd like to welcome 3 of our great candidates that are coming to you tonight to share their platforms and to hopefully answer some questions that you may have for them. We're going to be introducing you to April Gold, to Brad Carr, and to Rick Dostaler. So throughout the course of the next hour, we are excited to, again, find out a little bit more about what they stand for. We're encouraging people to make sure that they go out. Our advanced polls are starting tomorrow on Friday, October 8th and 9th, so Friday and Saturday. And then we're going to have election day, which is going to be on Monday, October 18th. All 3 of those polls are at the Misery Mountain Ski Chalet. I'm Amber Armstrong, and I'd like to welcome you with my co-moderator, Riley Armstrong. We also have Jody Bekovich, who's going to be our technical moderator behind the scenes. So she'll be taking care of all of our technical issues if any of them were to come forward. So if you hear a voice coming from the background, that's actually Jody Bekovich. Jody is also going to be recording tonight's session. Once the recording is done, we are going to be posting it on our YouTube channel, and then we'll be putting it onto Facebook so everybody can enjoy it, share it. And, and again, we really encourage people to reach out to those candidates after this forum so that they can further probe anything that the candidates may have not answered for you. So as your moderators this evening, we are going to be remaining unbiased and supportive and neutral. But I am going to divert from our normal programming just to say that I want to take a moment to acknowledge that I did a post on Facebook a few days ago, and I think it was quite unprofessional. It was sharing an opinion on candidates who weren't joining us. And I want to acknowledge that it was the wrong thing to do. And I want to extend my regret to those candidates for any kind of assumptions that I was making towards them. So I think it's a good reminder to me and to all people that, sometimes we make mistakes, and I wanted to acknowledge that and extend my regret for doing that. So I'm going to hand the forum back to Riley now, and she is going to explain the ground rules for our candidates. So go ahead, Riley.
All right, so moving forward with the ground rules. For each candidate, we ask you to respect each other's answers without interruption and to make sure that you keep your microphone muted. We will provide the time allocated for your response. If your time is close to being up, you will receive a visual 30-second warning. And if you go over your time, we will verbally notify you to wrap up your comments. The order of speaking for each segment for the forum was assigned alphabetically and then by sequence. Please feel comfortable and consider the next hour as a community conversation. We are local residents who are interested in hearing more about you and your plans for Peace River as a councillor. Amber, Jody, and I are here to encourage you and to provide you with that opportunity. Now to Amber to introduce the candidates and their opening statements.
Thanks, Riley. Okay, so it's my pleasure to introduce April, Brad, and Rick. We're going to start with April, and then we're going to go to Brad, and then to yourself, Rick. We want you to provide your opening statements, and you have 3 minutes. April, we're going to start with you. Go ahead.
Hello. I am a note taker for some of these speeches, so I do have something prepared. But first, I would like to say a really big thank you to the moderators and the technical support. This is amazing to get out there and get everybody involved. We truly appreciate the opportunity to be heard and the long hours it takes to put into an event like this. But I'll start with introducing myself to those who may not know me. My name is April Gold. I was born and raised in Peace River. I am blessed with my incredibly supportive husband, Chad, and our amazing children at home. We do own Tapped Out Gaming and Entertainment here in town, so the bowling alley, which gives me a lot of good business insight, especially through COVID, on how to be frugal. It's been an amazing couple of years. Actually, we've learned a lot about this. My path now takes me to stand before you as a candidate to serve in our community. I offer honesty and transparency and integrity. I come with fresh eyes, and strong business sense, and many ideas of how to increase our town's prosperity. Having served 2 3-year terms on the School Bus Drivers Bargaining Committee, I have a wealth of experience representing the collective, regardless of my own personal viewpoints. I am now very experienced in dissecting language and interpreting contracts, which will aid me greatly as a council member. As a person who loves to make people smile, my platforms tend to revolve around increasing our revenue through entertainment and family programming. I feel strongly that Peace River has a good, solid foundation laid, but we could expand upon that. We just need to use our assets more assertively and efficiently. I'd like to see more active participation in all of our clubs and the boards who are all working really hard to improve and offer wonderful programs to the public. We just need to know about them. That's another communication type issue. We should be partnering with them and expanding, and you only need a trickle of revenue from multiple sources rather than one big river you can kind of gather from the streams. And that's kind of my take on everything. That's how being frugal works. That's how saving money works. It's not one big momentous thing. It's the little things that you do to improve as we go. I've touched on accessibility before. We have a lot of people that need to have aids to get around town, and it is very difficult for them. Infrastructure plays a big part in that, of course. Taxi passes have been brought up, and public transportation, and I'm getting the wrap it up. So communication, but I'm honest and straight to the point. I'm always kind. I don't waste time, and I don't waste money, and I will be a strong voice for Peace River. Thank you.
That's fantastic, April. I've actually haven't heard some of the things that you were touching on, so I really appreciate you bringing that forward. Next, we're going to go to Brad Carr. So Brad, you have 3 minutes with an opening statement, and go ahead.
There we go. Can you hear me?
Very well.
Okay. Hi, I'm Brad Carr. I've been a resident of Peace River since 1972. I'm the owner of a small plumbing and heating company. Have owned 3 or 4 businesses over the years. Most recently, I built the housing project I was partner in building the housing project immediately behind the bowling alley, where I experienced a lot of the hurdles with developing in this town that I'm hoping we can correct. I was a little shocked after watching Cheryl Fitchie's talk the other night about the debt load that the town has. That's kind of jumped to the forefront of my issues since I heard her speak the other night. My opinion, when you're that far in debt, is you either have to increase revenue or cut your spending, and I think we're going to have to start with that right away. Revenue generating is a long-term thing. It's not something that happens very quickly. My ideas in that is obviously mostly going to be at the administrative level. I would like to restructure some of the administration and maybe amalgamate blend some of the positions to run it more efficiently, maybe cutting costs that way. I'm sure there's many ways to cut costs, but we're definitely going to have to go down that path because we can't afford the debt load that we've got at present. Another thing we're going to have to do as a council is recognize the difference between needs and wants. I think needs obviously have to be covered by the town, whereas wants would hopefully be covered by the group that has the wants, whether it be for a weekend event or the bike trails by the ski hill is a big one that I hear about. I remember back when the gymnastics club wanted to open, they were forced to go out and fundraise for a major portion of their money before the town even offered to step in and donate. And I think that's maybe the way we need to go. more so than just sponsoring everything that comes by. A big thing with me is I don't want to see any more tax increases. I think we're taxed about as high as we can go at this point. We're just gonna have to find a way to cut. That's all we're gonna have to focus on that. And I guess just get Peace River back on track more than anything. Get it back where maybe we can look at maybe funding more things, more wants than necessarily just needs. And
Brad, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but your 3 minutes is up.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks, Brad. I think when people want to go over, it means that they have a lot to talk about. So again, I always encourage people after this forum, reach out to Brad if you want to hear a little bit more about that particular part of his platform. Rick, we're ready to go with yourself. If you want to unmute, take it away.
Okay, can you hear me?
Very well.
Okay, yeah, my name's Rick Dostaler, and I'm 61 years old. I've got quite a bit of experience in pretty well all areas, and that's why I'm running for council, because I think that our town needs a change. I think we need some new blood there, and maybe some new thoughts so we can get on track. And I am concerned about our financial situation, on how we can actually get out of it, because there is only a few of us to pay this debt down. And whether the true debt is what I hear or not, I mean, I guess the person would find out when we get in there and do some digging. But anyway, I think I could be an asset to the town in that area, because I know quite a bit about quite a few things. And I've been a volunteer. I coached girls fastball for 10 years. We went to provincials. I think we were the only northern team to ever win a medal there. So I think we've done great there. I volunteered for the summer games. I also volunteer and do pond hockey since it was started up. And that's clearing the ice and putting up all their tents, and that's volunteering time and equipment. And that's a lot of time for getting that pond hockey ready. But I think I'd be a great asset to the council. And we just need a few other people on there with the same type of ideas that we have to, I think, make our town more self-sufficient, instead of relying on everything and everybody around us to come in here and create jobs. I think we have to do a lot of that ourselves and get our community, surrounding community, all involved, so that we can just, you know, be self-sufficient. I think that'd be a great asset. Thanks.
Thanks, Rick. You know, that's one theme we've heard from all of our candidates is, you know, the desire to be involved. And, you know, no matter which way the election goes, I think it's an encouraging thing to see so many people stepping up and wanting to do something. So hopefully we'll see more of that after the election. Now at this portion of our forum, we're going to have the moderator questions. I'm going to hand this over to Riley, and she'll explain what that is, and then we'll go forward. Riley, go ahead.
Yes, hi everybody. Okay, so the questions that we're going to ask next, they were selected from a list provided to all the candidates in advance of this evening. Each question will be answered by the candidates with 5 minutes allocated for the response. We're going to start with Brad and then Rick, followed by April. Does that sound okay? Brad, you're going to go first. Your first question is, community health and safety is a priority for all residents. Please share your thoughts on the health and safety of Peace River. All right, Brad, you've got 5 minutes.
Oh boy, community health and safety. First thing that comes to mind is our lack of doctors. I really don't know. I just asked somebody today why we can't seem to hang on to doctors here in Peace River. We've got a beautiful new medical facility there and clinic, and yet we can't seem to hang on to them. You know, a lot of people in Peace River don't have a family doctor anymore, including myself, which is certainly concerning. I'm not sure what we can do about that, but it's certainly something we need to look into. As for safety, in my question, I'm covering a lot of things in infrastructure that would refer to that, but you know, I'm really drawing a blank here. I'm sorry. I
Brad,
don't really...
Brad, what about, you know, like policing? I know a lot of residents have always been concerned
yes.
about that sort of thing.
Yes. Yes, that's not, thank you very much for that. Yes, actually, just recently it came to light that our present council has considered cutting a couple police positions in Peace River, and in the meantime, I believe we have 3 peace officers on staff, and I don't understand what the thinking is in that, and that will have to be investigated. I don't know this, but I suspect that the thinking is with the RCMP, we only, as a municipality, we only, if they ticket somebody within the town, we get a percentage of the ticket. Whereas if a peace officer tickets someone in the town, we get 100% of what the ticket is. But I'm not convinced that is the way I want to generate revenue by ticketing, you know, either citizens or visitors to our town. I think the peace officer job should be for bylaw enforcement and safety, not necessarily for revenue. You know, something that's going to need to be investigated, because I'm very much against cutting RCMP positions. We're shorthanded already, and with crime being a growth industry, as we all know, we just can't afford to lose RCMP. So yeah, other than that, I don't really know what else I can add. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for that answer, Brad. All right, Rick, you're going to be up next, and I'm just going to reread the question for you for the sake of the people that are going to be watching online later in case they missed it. The question is, community health and safety is a priority for all residents. Please share your thoughts on the health and safety of Peace River. Rick, you have 5 minutes.
There you go. Okay. Yeah, the health and safety. Well, I think mostly when it comes to health, that's in the individual's hands, you know, all on how we eat and whatever we do, how, you know, how much exercise we do, all of that. I mean, that's really into the hands of the individual. The safety aspect for the town, I mean, as long as we keep our streets clean in the wintertime, the sidewalks, all that kind of stuff, as long as that's done. And I know the past few years, I don't think that job has been done very well from the town. And I think for our health, we have a lot of facilities in town that the town invested in for people to get healthy at. And I think all that stuff lies, like I said, in the hands of the individual. And I think for the safety, the floods, the fires, we have evacuation routes in place. We have plans already in place. And with all the plans, no matter what it be, I think we all still have to see what's going on with our own eyes and evaluate the situation that way also. So, I mean, I think, like I said, people have to take more responsibility for their health and their safety themselves, you know, all in what we eat. And that's why I say I think it'd be a great idea to get, you know, most of the local communities, surrounding areas, and have a permanent type flea market or farmer's market, whatever you want to call it. People can bring their crafts there, you know, 5 to 6 days a week, not just once every 2 or 3 weeks. And that way everybody in town is participating. Because really, I'm afraid that at this point in time, we really have to fix our town, because if we don't fix it, I think we could be in a lot of trouble. Our taxes keep going up as it is. And I think our health and safety is pretty well looked after by the town with doing our share of infrastructure work and keeping the town as safe as possible, which hasn't been done lately either. I think we can do a better job in our public works department. We got millions of dollars in equipment just sitting there and people not doing nothing with it. We have to maintain our town and keep it safe for everybody. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you for that answer, Rick. All right, April, you're up next. I'm just going to read the question for you. Community health and safety is a priority for all residents. Please share your thoughts on the health and safety of Peace River. April, you've got 5 minutes.
Thank you. This is a really broad topic. There are lots of things. Good job, Rick, because infrastructure, sidewalks, safety, that all matters. And good job, Brad, because attracting doctors and nurses is vital. And to do that, I feel like that's where we tie back into the same thing that we've discussed many times about bringing more businesses, making our town more attractive for people to want to come and live here, bring their families and get involved. My goodness, bylaws, that's another really good one. There's been a lot of controversy with the peace officers versus the bylaw. And I feel like that needs a really good review. That's a really tough one to answer, but I do know that I would like to see, and this as a school bus driver, I would like to see more resources in the school zones during the school time. There are countless people who do blow-bys daily. The radio is full of us drivers calling in plates, but it's still not easy to follow up on. So when they do their blitz in the beginning of the year, it's wonderful. Everybody slows down, but then they kind of, the blitz is over and they move on. But people are aggressively breaking traffic laws on a daily basis down in the North End. It's a zoo. I don't know if you guys have been down there, but it's not ideal. So I would love to see a little more focus in patrolling things that actually matter as far as safety goes for the public. My goodness, back to the infrastructure, the sidewalks, making things really clear. I really like the crossing that was put in at the school zone by Springfield. I feel like those are very effective and very visible. And I know they cost money, so that may not be something that is feasible in the very near future, but anything that you can do to increase safety in that vulnerable zone of our town would be wonderful. Yeah, the parks are great. We could use a little bit more attractive again for the kids. The equipment, I understand. We've taken out a lot of things that are deemed unsafe and maybe putting in a few different things that don't cost a lot of money, but can be appealing. Lots of ideas. But I think that is probably close to my time. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for that insight there, April. All right, I'm going to hand it back over to Amber now, and she's going to read the second moderator question that we've chosen.
For sure. The second moderated question is very similar to the first insofar as you'll have 5 minutes each to answer the question. I will, like Riley, repeat the question for you as we get to you, but we're going to go in the order of Rick. We'll move to April, and then Brad will finish with you. And here's your question. What advantages do you see working as a counselor? So Rick, what advantages do you see working as a counselor? Go ahead.
Well, the advantages of working as a counselor is going to be that we can help the residents of the town, because I think that's a big problem right now. We don't have enough people helping the residents of this community, whether it be in business or private, residential owners. Like nobody helps these people out, because I know I've had issues and nobody's doing anything about it for weeks at a time. When to me, it's so simple that we just have to talk to the people. What we do is we can't forget why we're here if we're in these positions. We wouldn't be here if the town wouldn't be here. We work for these people. We are these people. And we all have to work together. Myself, I don't see any reason why the town doesn't help out pretty well everybody in the community. We're all here. I don't understand it. I mean, I'm in construction business, and when I'm going and talking to people, people come up with their own ideas, and you listen to them. And maybe if the idea isn't so great, you explain to them that it might not be so great. But if that's what you want, you're going to do it. But I mean, people, we all have to get together and work together. And I don't see the town doing that. And I think it's going to be fairly easy to communicate with the residents of our town.
Okay, thank you, Rick. I appreciate that. April, I'm going to repeat the question for you. What advantages do you see working as a counselor? Go ahead, you have 5 minutes.
Oh, wow. There are so many good things that could be done. I think that having some new people coming into council would be really good. We have fresh ideas, we have fresh experiences to add, and fresh insight. So to have that teamwork, be able to make some really powerful changes, and it doesn't take much. It's just a little bit here and a little bit there. But really, as far as advantages go, like that's a really short question, because to me, it's all an advantage and it's all about helping our town thrive. And we need to do everything we can to make it a beautiful place, or more beautiful, because it already is. I love living here. So the ability to have the ideas heard and make some of those decisions that can possibly have very long-term positive effects. But yeah, that one's a very simple question, and so very short answer.
No, I appreciate that. And we wondered when we were selecting the question, is it too simple? But there is a reason, I think, that we had 20 people stepping forward to want to be counselors for the town of Peace River. And we thought, well, there must be something behind this. So Brad, we're going to hand it over to you. What advantages do you see being a counselor for the town of Peace River? Go ahead.
I think the biggest thing is being part of the solution. You're in a position where you're able to collaborate with your other council members and also people within the town with their ideas, and you're essentially a funnel where you collect all the ideas and bring them to chamber and hopefully resolve them. I think that's the best part about it. Yeah, I just look forward to working with other people and coming up with good solutions for what I see as many issues in this town. And I guess we have 4 years to figure it out, so we'll see how it goes. Thank you.
4 fun, fun-filled years. That's right. Yeah, it's not always work, I think, as a counselor. I think sometimes you guys get to have a lot of fun as well. Next, I'm going to turn over back to Riley, and she's going to ask you some candidate questions and explain that. So go ahead, Riley.
Yes, yeah. Okay, so next we're going to have the candidate selected questions. So each candidate was provided with the opportunity to select a question from the large list of questions or submit their own question. We're going to start with our candidate questions with April, and then Brad, and then Rick. You will have 5
Riley.
minutes.
Sorry, I think you froze up just a tiny bit, Riley.
Oh, sorry, guys. Do you want me to read the whole thing again? I'm just going to read the order again. So it was April, Brad, and then Rick for the candidate selected questions. And the candidate selected questions are the ones that they had the opportunity to choose from the list, or they had the opportunity to submit their own. So April, your question was, no counselor has expertise in all government areas. To make the best decision, what is your process for decision making? You have 5 minutes, April.
Thank you. I chose this question because a lot of people like to know what's going on behind the scenes. And for me, decision making is not something to be taken very lightly. So first you have to look at the feasibility. Is this going to improve the status quo? Is it affordable? Is it efficient? Then I research. Has anyone else tried this idea? How did it go for them? What were the pros? What were the cons? Is it still worth doing? I love discussing with peers, and I love discussing with teammates throughout the whole process, as everyone has different insights, different experiences, and all of our different backgrounds and experiences bring different outlooks to that table. But I like to be fully informed before I make an actual decision. But I also don't like to take too long, because sometimes time matters. So this is one of the sayings that I've been saying for years, is I make the best decision I can at the time with the information I have available. And that's the best I can do. So as informed as possible and sound it off. I love brainstorming with people. Group decisions are the best. I feel like on council that so many good people are running this year that it really opens the door for some really powerful dialogue, really good things to come. But that would basically be what goes through my head. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for that question and that answer, April. All right, Brad, we're going to move on to you next. Your question was, repairing and improving local infrastructure is an ongoing maintenance cost. What are your top infrastructure concerns and why? Brad, you've got 5 minutes.
Thank you. Infrastructure is a big problem in this town just because of the way our town is laid out. It's very long and it's divided by a river, and we've got hills and we've got development on top of the hills, and it's a lot of roads, a lot of pavement, a lot of pipe, that needs to be maintained. The biggest things, and I guess the most obvious things to me, are the safety and the liability that I see that doesn't really seem to be an issue at this point, and I'd really like to bring it to the forefront. For example, the fire hydrants in town. You can drive around. Well, for example, a few years ago, there was a gentleman who drove over West Peace, off of the road above West Peace, and ended up in Lower West Peace, and he sheared off a fire hydrant there. That's been 2 years and it has not been replaced. You drive around other areas of town and there's plastic bags over top of the hydrants, which means they're out of commission. Like that is a huge liability and risk issue to the town, not to mention to the people who live in that area. I have inquired about it, and I just don't seem to be getting any let's say believable explanations as to why it's not being done. In a time when it's tough like this, if a house burns down, somebody's going to look for their pound of flesh, and if the town has been negligent in that area, that's where it's going to land, and it is going to cost us, and it needs to be addressed. Other things, when I walk down Main Street and I see these what used to be at one time beautiful paving stones, and a lot of them have deteriorated so badly that they become a hazard. Again, a safety issue. If somebody trips on it, are we going to be sued? Same as they're called CC caps, but the water shutoff caps that are in the sidewalks along Main Street. Some of them stick up an inch out of the sidewalk. All these things are hazards that the town could be held liable for, and they just don't seem to be issues. And it's all part of infrastructure, and it all should be addressed. And if for no other reason, safety and risk, and to improve the look of downtown, if nothing else. That's another thing. Is I'm going to kind of stretch the infrastructure thing here a little bit, but I'd like to see the downtown. I feel it's been ignored for a long time, and I'd like to see it cleaned up. Even if they ran the street sweeper over a few extra times and took care of the garbage and the weeds a little more often. And it's funny, they always paint the crosswalks and the curbs, it seems, towards the end of the season. I'd like to see that at the beginning of the season. It adds to the freshness of the town. When people come downtown to downtown Peace River, you'd like them to remember it as maybe an experience. Like wow, that was a nice fresh look to that place. And it's all part of infrastructure. And then from there, I'd like to address the cost of that kind of stuff. It seems that a lot of our jobs go to one or two contractors, and we have a lot of very capable and possibly willing contractors in town. I'd like to see the town start a preferred contractor list that anybody could be on, and then the work rotated amongst them. Of course, cost would have to be a consideration in that, and they could set up like a cost per job type thing. Now, obviously, a frozen water line in the middle of winter, you can't assess a cost to that until the job is done. But for example, changing out a fire hydrant, if you do that in the summer, you know, it's got to be a fairly consistent cost from hydrant to hydrant. And not that you want everybody doing it for free, but you don't want one company doing it for $5,000 and another company do it for $20,000. You know, it just doesn't make sense. And since we're the keeper of the purse strings, you know, we should really look into that. And yeah, I think it's a big job, but I think we need to pay more attention to it. And again, that falls under the needs category as far as I'm concerned, not the wants. So thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you for that answer, Brad. I'm going to hand it back over to Amber here for the closing comments.
Sure. We're just going to go back though, and we'll have Rick maybe answer his last.
Yeah.
No, that's okay.
Thanks. Right, I was actually going to speak up there.
I apologize for that one. Okay, Rick.
Hi, can you see me? Hello, Riley.
I apologize. All right, Rick, your question was, why have communications related to decisions by the town of Peace River failed in the past, and what would you do to improve this area? Rick, you've got 5 minutes.
I think the town fails in actually communicating with the people and the businesses. And I think that, I mean, in the past 6 years, to me, that's really taken place. That there's no communicating with any of us from the people that we have in administration. And I mean, as for the councillors and the mayor, I mean, I've called them numerous times in the past 6 years, and you know, you talk to them, but nothing really gets accomplished. So I think the bottom line is that they need to communicate a lot more. And I don't see how it's difficult to communicate with the residents of Peace River or any businesses. To me, the town's business, to welcome business into our community, is to be easy to work with. Talk to them, invite them in. That's what makes us attractive. Come on in, we're not difficult to work with. Because, I mean, to me, we have to let them in. Why do we fight anybody or put hurdles in front of them when they're bringing a business into our community? I mean, to me, it was like the airport fiasco. We had a company that won and was going to put their building, their own infrastructure on their own dime. And we didn't allow it. Well, all of the town of Peace River's business was to give them a business license and let them go to work and assist them in any way possible. Instead, it wasn't. It was a whole bunch of legal costs for the town of Peace River. Why? It didn't benefit any of us at all. And to me, that's wrong. We just have to welcome everybody with open arms. Give them a big hug. Like, really, I don't know what else to say, because to me, there's no reason why we should have any issues. And to me, it's a communicating factor. Nobody in there has any desire to help us all out here in the community, or they're not motivated either. Like, and that's what I don't get. To me, we have to want to help our community. And if all these people wanted to help our community, we wouldn't be in the state we're in now. Because to me, when we got a job in front of us to do, let's just get at it. Let's do it. Let's find the best way possible to do it. Everybody brainstorm. Let's have everybody's ideas. What's the cheapest? But you know what? Let's get at it. Let's do it. Let's not take 5, 6 years or 7 years. Let Pat Creek flood our downtown another 3 more times before we actually fix it. Like, we got to get jobs done, because otherwise it's going to be way too late. The cost is going to be way too much for us. And we don't have the funds to be spending any money. Like, I agree with Brad. We got to look at where we're spending money if we have to. So, I mean, that's about it. I see I got a thumbs up there, Eddie. Thank you.
Thank you for that answer, Rick, and I apologize again for missing your turn. Okay, now I'm going to hand it off to Amber for her to complete the closing statements.
Sure. Riley was giving you the thumbs up, Rick, because she thought you did such a good job. Well, we've moved along very quickly through our questions that we had for you. right now, what we'd like to do is move into our closing comments section. This is an opportunity for each of you to really kind of sum up for, you know, the people who will be voting in the town of Peace River as to why they should vote for you and why they should get out and why this matters. So we're going to provide each of you with 3 minutes, and we're going to start with you, Brad. Rick will follow up. You'll put you right in the middle so we won't forget you. And then April, we will come back to you. So Brad, go ahead, 3 minutes for your opening comments, or your closing comments.
Thank you. I was told, I was in a local business the other day, and I was told by the owner there that it's probably the most important election in Peace River history. And I didn't ask him why, but obviously there is some truth to that with 20 candidates running for council. Obviously people are seeing a need for change or action or something, which is most impressive in my mind. But as the councillors, we're being asked to bring our town back on track financially and socially. We need to build stronger relationships with our neighbors, and I would even say with the province. You know, we're a small town, and without the province's support, we will struggle more than what we do now. We need to improve our processes to encourage development and entice investment in our community. Having just gone through the development process here, there's room for improvement there. Let's just say that there's room for improvement. I would like to see an economic development officer in town here. They would be able to absolutely help with the process of enticing businesses to town, which I had mentioned in the prior forum. I would like to figure out a way to go out and actually solicit businesses to come to our town, rather than just waiting for them to drop on our doorstep. I'd like Peace River to return to a fun, friendly, prosperous town like it once was. Yeah, there's a lot of work ahead of us. There really is. I'd like to thank Amber and her crew for allowing us to take part in this. I think it certainly is a good thing. Yeah, and I guess everybody, please get out and vote. As I said, it's a very important election, and I'd like to see a high percentage get out and voice their opinions. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Brad. I appreciate your shout out, as my team does as well. Rick, are you ready to provide your closing comments?
Yeah, I'm ready to go, I guess.
You bet. Go ahead.
I mean, I'd like everybody, yes, to get out and vote. And yes, I'd like to thank you for putting this on, because I think this is great. And anybody that wants to get involved or hear what's going on in the town of Peace River politics, well, I guess this is a great opportunity for them to listen to all of us speak. But I think that, yes, we do have to make our town more attractive. And for businesses, we got to welcome them, cut the red tape. We have to get businesses and families to come here, because, I mean, at the state, the country, the province, everyone's in right now. I mean, it doesn't look good. I mean, I know some of the questions on here, you know, asked about affordable housing and food, and I think we need all that, because if people keep losing their jobs and can't go to work, I mean, there's so many things going on in the construction world that, you know, you want to build a garage for a guy, but you can't get a garage door for 5 months. Like, really, there's something wrong. Like, pretty soon, I don't know, maybe quite a few of us are going to be out of work. So where does the money come from? We have to be self-sufficient. We have to have businesses here that need stuff around our area that's going to keep them going. And that way we got employment happening. We got people moving in. Everybody's spending their money here. And we don't have to worry about anything else. But I mean, I say get out and vote. And I think we do need new blood. And we need people that care about our town. have a little bit of passion. And that's what I have to say. I'm passionate about getting stuff done in this town. And that's what we need. We need somebody that cares about the town, not doesn't care about us, because that's what seems to be happening at this moment. I hate to say it, but I mean, I've been seeing it. So get out and vote for me, because I'll do some change. I'll make this town better, guaranteed, because there isn't nothing out here that can't be changed and fixed. It's simple. And we're not at war with anybody. All the surrounding communities, municipalities, come on in. We all got to work together. We all got to be creative. That's, I mean, to me, there's nothing we have to argue about, fight about. All we have to do is keep communications open and discuss everything and solve the problem. And like I said, thanks for having us on.
Thanks, Rick. April, last but not least, go ahead. You have 3 minutes on your closing statement.
All right. I had a whole thing prepared. I'm actually going to just take pieces of it. First of all, I do really agree. I'd like to see repairs done, and I'd like to see them done in a timely manner while keeping jobs as local as we can. It's an investment into our own people, and we are our own best support. I would like to see development in our communications. We are in a technology age, and I feel like the town website could use some updates. We could have a direct line to the public with that website. Like, we're always talking about communicating to the public, and even a light board by town hall would be more efficient than what we have right now. So I would like to see things on that website, like a directory of every business in Peace River who pays their taxes and does their business license every year, and a little description of what kind of services they offer and a way of getting a hold of them. I'd like to see a parade of programs section on that website where people can go and browse and see what kind of activities are available for their families, and seasonal sports that come up before they even go to the chaos of a parade of programs, which we haven't really had. I didn't know about the last parade of programs, and we've got lots of youth programming. We send out utility bills every month. Why not put something in those to showcase a business, highlight something, put out a poll? We could have a section on that website about polling. Like, I've got a lot. I'm scrolling through all the things here, but I'm trying to keep it down for time. Grant applications. We almost need somebody full-time to apply for grants. Even if they're things that we don't think we need, apply for it. There's no harm. If you don't use it, you can decline it. You don't have to go there, but just applying for all the help we can get can build into something better as we go. It can be amalgamated with other projects. Keeping informed on the grants as well. That could be another website section. I'm not very techie, sorry. But you know, we can also improve our attractions. Oh my goodness, see, I'm getting the thumbs up already. Okay, lots of good things. Ski Hill, we have great amenities. Let's use them. If you're not moving forwards, you're moving backwards. And thank you. I hope everybody has a safe and happy Thanksgiving. Thanks,
April. Yeah, I feel like these are actually opening comments in terms of who you are as candidates. It shouldn't be closing. I think it's just the start. Just before I hand it off to Riley, the one thing I did want to say is I want to really thank the current council. I think when every 4 years we welcome new councillors in, and it's a grind. It's a long 4 years of dedicated public service, and I really appreciate that. And I do want to thank the current councillor for all their time and effort, and I wish them all the very best, those that are running and those that are leaving and going on to other challenges. So well done to them. And now I'll turn it over to Riley just to end our evening. Riley, go ahead.
All right. First, I would like to thank everybody for coming. April, Brad, Rick, it was a serious pleasure listening to you guys speak this evening. At this time, I would like to take a moment and thank Victoria Champion, Jody Bekovich, Tony Nickenchunk, Barb Drummond, Jeanette Danks, Channing Stenhouse, as well as my co-moderator, Auntie Amber, for spearheading this forum. Each of them have made this a fantastic experience for all of our candidates. As we stated, this is the final of 6 Town of Peace River Council forums. Remember, the advanced polls start tomorrow at the Misery Mountain Ski Hill, October 8th and 9th, and then again on Election Day on October 18th. The polls will be open from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Again, thank you for joining us and good luck to all of the candidates. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone, and I hope that everyone has a great weekend.
Happy Thanksgiving, Riley.